Let me tell you one story about something I learned. Let me tell you one story about something I learned. Yeah.
Gonna hit you hard with the fast and the fury. Make your mouth drop like Jordan and Julie. Stepping on the court, dog, on dangerous. Getting the score like Bobby De Niro. Don't approach us like no Gondoliero. Leave you looking like Eddie Norton. Straw in your word like Marvin Martian. Wanna know why? The God sent we. Cause your belly full and your mind empty. All sound alike on BET. How many naked girls do you see? Like Miss Awalad, me can't believe me eyes. Won't stop rocking till the boat capsize. In the holy water, washing off your disguise. Always go back to your dirty pig style. Damn, big, you left them hypnotized.
Soldiers dance in the middle of the night, smoking trees and chilling with wife. Fridge got food and the kitchen tight. I got a big dog and him off at night. Soldiers dance in the middle of the night, smoking trees and chilling with wife. Fridge got food and the kitchen tight. I got a big dog and him off at night.
Walk a fine line like a high wire act. Speak in my mind.
You're listening to the B4evaKool podcast. My name is Rex45.
And my name is TJ. My 2 isn't coffee.
What's going on, man?
Doing good, man. Glad bike season's here where everything is on. So, the weather's getting better. The flowers are blooming.
Nice.
Fortunately, New England we got a quick summer blast and we're still suffering with the cold weather, rainy. Actually, April showers is happening. So, but can't complain. Did my first track weekend, so getting ready for the next one.
Okay, then. All right, then. So you're feeling good about now that the time has passed since you raced last. I mean, for me, it was like 6 months.
Oh, yeah.
You had your first weekend. How's that feeling?
I finally got the itch out the way.
All right. I mean, it was cold and rainy.
It was cold. Finally got to start my camping season,
Okay.
up in the tent. But, it was warm for where I was in the tent, but it was cold.
Wait. So
Actually,
wait. So you weren't in the camp or you were in the tent?
Yeah, I was in the tent. So
What you talking about, Willis? I mean, it's New England. You trying to get like a Boy Scout badge or something?
But it was actually better the first 2 days I went. It was in the 60s.
Okay.
So it just slowly declined towards Sunday. With 100% chance of rain.
Yeah, I haven't done the tent thing.
I had to count myself out. I told myself I would ride in anything, at least try to participate in rain. But when it says high 42 degrees, yeah, I can just say no, thank you.
Okay.
For now, a lot of people stayed out, but it was an overall good weekend though. How about yourself?
Well, I mean, it's been a little bit since we've done a show.
Oh yeah.
So a lot has happened. I mean, you've started your season. I think I've started my season. I don't think we've done a show since my season. The season that we've been on the track. So for me, my season started at CMP in March. March. I wish it was March. In April, a couple of weeks ago, and it was the first time out on the 2022, and just trying to figure out settings and just making sure everything you do is working and stuff like that. So,
right. You got to run your new KTM, right?
Yeah, and but it was raining, or the track was wet. And I'm trying to think.
Of course, why would it be perfect?
Exactly.
First time you want to run your new bike,
You know what I mean? And so it wasn't. It was one of those things where, and I don't remember which day was wet, but I did do practice session on Friday, and I don't remember if it was wet or not. But I know I ran slicks on the whole weekend. So but it was interesting because when you have a new bike, and you kind of when what your old bike, if it's your first time out, then you only have one bike. But if you have a couple of race bike, it's like once you have a bike figured out and you've been riding it, and everything works and all that, it's all good. And when you take on something new, where it's a newer version of something, so it's like parts are not as readily available. you find there's two things. You either go mad, you know what I'm saying, or you find a lot of patience, right? And so that was the thing that was the biggest part for me. It was like the whole process of, parts and stuff like that. And even like, I've done 2 rounds and my quick shifter still isn't figured out. You know what I mean? And I'm hoping to figure it out by the time this air, I'll be in pit. And so I'm hoping to have it figured out by then. So, it's one thing like I'm on this is my 4th bike I've built. Say 4, 2, okay, my 3rd bike I've built. 2 R6 and then this KTM. And, with the R6, there's a lot of stuff hasn't changed up to the 2021 or whatever. 2020s, I think, is the last year they really made the R6. Now it's just you can just buy the race version. I think maybe 2021, whatever. But
Right.
So that was an easier build because I could, when I built the 2012, like all the parts were already there. I didn't have to like try stuff and figure out stuff and see if stuff work. And where this was it's not that much of a difference between the older bikes, but it's
new.
But it's big. It's a big enough difference that they're different, and so I'm figuring it out. So CMP for me, I had to remember that it was a shakedown. It wasn't like I'm trying to do podium or try.
It wasn't like 4th, 5th round and everything's ready.
Exactly.
You gotta,
you know what I'm saying? So
this is your testing time.
Exactly. So you know what I mean. So and what I realized that, and you can touch on this one about your experience at Loudon. But I found that there were a lot of red flags on Saturday, and it, and I don't know why. So I'm not gonna sit here and say because I usually don't watch races because first one, the main reason is I remember watching a race in Jersey to watch the experts the race before my race, and there was like a big crash in turn 1. So I don't watch races because I don't want to see what happens and having to overcome that. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody's different. So for me, I just chill out and just focus on my race. You know what I mean? So like on Saturday, there's a lot of red flags. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know why that is. For riders, the riders that crashed and you know what I mean? For me, if I crash or if I make a mistake, I try to figure out what it is I could do different. Mm-hmm. Doesn't mean next time it happens I'll do different, but it's nice to know I can have at least a option. You know what I'm saying? Like if I'm in this situation again, okay, maybe I did this and that didn't work out. So maybe if I do this, it may work out. You know what I'm saying?
How was the weather down there? I mean, couldn't have been better than what we had, but.
Oh no, was it? Yeah, no.
Was it raining the whole time, or?
No, it rained at night and there was water on the track. But you know what I'm saying? So I mean, that could play a part in it. Like I don't want to tell people why they crash because I don't know why they crash. But I knew going out for the first round, and I haven't ridden in 6 months, and we've raced in 6 months, much less ridden a motorcycle. And we've talked about this. It's like I knew I had to ease myself into that. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know how many riders try to ease themselves into it, or what the reason is. But it was definitely
maybe a lot of points at stake. People trying to get them early or something. I don't know.
I think we got like 2 races done, and they had the endurance race was later, so they had that. But outside of that, like there was like 2 races done. And it was a bad incident. One of the crashes, so that took a lot of time and so forth, and then there was just a lot of red flags after that.
Yeah,
and you know what I'm saying. So it's I say this because I don't want to I'm pointing fingers and telling people who can ride and who can't ride and all that. I just know it's like if it's my first time out, I'm gonna warm up to it.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, my first. Weekend. I obviously didn't want to go straight to racing, so I did a racer practice. So I did a couple sessions on Friday, which we actually had good weather. It was high like 65-ish. The first session is always cold, and I didn't do that one.
First, the whole weekend is always cold. It's Loudon, baby.
My mentality when I went out there was to basically just stretch my body, just getting off the bike, getting used to that again, and getting up to speed. My practice times are really not that good, but I wanted to work on a few things and see where I was at, to like calibrate myself. Like, we have a turn where you go full speed, almost to 120, and then it's basically a wall. So you got to brake hard and lean to the right. So my first couple laps, I was overshooting that turn. I wasn't hitting the apex like I wanted to.
Right.
And I was like, oh yeah, see, this is, I was telling myself this is why you need to practice.
Yeah.
So to get ready for the race. Unfortunately, we didn't have any major incidents, thank God. But, we had a couple incidents with bikes, leaking. So they had to clean up on the track. So it was a lot of kitty litter, But Saturday went well. There was maybe a couple incidents where, as time goes by, they just cut your laps.
Right. Oh,
But everyone got their races in. So, but I didn't stick around Sunday. I know there was a few incidents Sunday, but I'm not sure how that.
I heard it was a lot of rain.
Yeah, and then there was a lot of rain. But
it's tricky with the weather. You always last year. I think for me, the weather played a part in my championship last year, or lack thereof. And this, it is what it is. Jersey, same thing. I went to Jersey this past weekend, and the same thing. I lucked out because CMP and other tracks that I've ridden when there's water on the ground. If it rained that morning, and there's no rain, but the track is wet, I'm going out on slicks. You know what I mean? I'm not sitting here saying I'm Jack Miller. I'm not even trying to say anything close to that. But when you go out in wet conditions and you go out in rain conditions, you get a good understanding. And granted, I'm on a KTM RC390. I'm not on an R6. I think last year I went out on slicks on my R6 though. It's if every rider is different. But if there's standing water, it's one thing. It depends on the track for sure. But I went out on slicks the Friday to Saturday, and there was water on the track. You pick the bike up when if you don't feel good in that section, or you just you get over the section that you don't feel confident in. That's just how I look at it. But out of that section, if it's wet, I come off the track, my tires are dry. They're not like damp. So.
Another good thing is that you've ridden bikes that has electronics, but I don't think the R6 that we had has electronics. We know like traction control and all that, so we know a little bit more of the feel of a tire. So if you are going through a puddle, like kind of what feeling you want.
Exactly.
Through, so.
And that's the thing. From my understanding, if you're on rain tires, it should be raining or standing water. If not, it's like an intermediate tire you'd be on if it's standing water. But I went out in the morning session, and it was colder in the morning, and I was the first lap I took my time, and every lap I got quicker, and then I found after a sudden I was catching riders that were on reins. You know what I'm saying? And so it was just like, oh, okay, I got some grip out here. You know what I mean? And shout out to Pirelli. They're not a sponsor of anything that I'm doing, and it's my second round Pirellis. But
holding up.
Yeah, I have no complaints about it. And then I went to Jersey, and in Jersey was the same thing on Saturday. There was a lot of standing water. And I went out there on slicks on Saturday. Did my practice sessions on slicks. Did my races on slicks. It was one of the few. It was in a few times. I won both races on slicks. And my first time as an expert.
There we go. Congrats.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, listen, I never thought it would happen like that, but it happened. And then Sunday it rained, and I went out on my 2015 on rains because it was coming down. And that made sense. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't sit here and go, oh, I'm gonna go out there on slicks and it's coming down. But I think if it's not coming down and you're on slicks, go out there and try it, and you'll see really how much grip you really have.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you just gotta one day just say I'm gonna do it. I mean, I rode in a race that it started raining, but I still have yet to choose to put the rain tires on and go out there.
Oh man, listen. No, there's some grip to it. There's a lot of grip. Don't get me wrong. Rain tires are, don't get me wrong. There's a lot of people that jack themselves up.
I mean, there's a lot of proof. There's people that race in the rain. They stay up most of the time. So, I'm sure I can manage to. It's just all about the feel, I guess.
It's all about the feel. Yeah. It's all about the feel, and your, as they say, hand of God is your hand the throttle to the rear tire. You know what I'm saying? The more in tune you are to it, this is what,
It'll be light on the entry, very light. I have a question. Was Jim McConville there?
No, he was not.
Because he brings the rain, man.
Yeah.
He brings the rain. Every time he's racing, it's always rain. So
nah, he was not there. He was not there. I hope he's not upset if I put this out there. But he's racing Wira this year. He's not doing CCS Azra this year. Shout out to him because he's holding it down, and you know what it is. It's you go out there and you ride, man. It's crazy. So so these last few weeks, and so I'm heading to pit in a couple of tomorrow, as of the recording, not necessarily of the airing, but a few days. But like I said, by the time this air, I'll be in pit. So that's gonna be a new track for me. So that's gonna be interesting.
Yeah, new track's always good. That's what I'm looking forward to this year. So
yeah,
it should be fun for you.
Yeah, well, I hope so. I hope so. You know what I mean?
The weather's getting better too. So
say again?
The weather's getting better.
Yeah,
it's a couple weeks out from the last time you've been out. So,
it's less than a week for me.
Yeah,
'cause I just got
a couple
back
days
yesterday.
You recovered yet?
I'm not even. It doesn't even matter anymore. Like I'm already working out. You know what I mean? Like honestly, it's like I don't even have time to sit here and go, oh, I have time to be tired. It's like, oh no, I got to turn around and I have to work. Like it's I maybe everything, but there's foundation. There's always foundation. There's a foundation, and there's always like a stepping stone, right? And so I find it was one of those things where I got back and I knew I had to start working out. Like, it didn't even cross my mind, like, oh, I want to veg out for a day and a half or anything like that, because I know I'm leaving. I didn't have to. I'm literally back for like 2.5 days, 3 days, and then back on the road. And it's racing, and then I got some training sessions after that. So honestly, listen, I'm not complaining. But the next, 6-7 days is going to be just, crazy.
Yeah, I'm sure you're ready for it. That's why you was like, yeah, I gotta get ready.
Yeah. That's why it's like I gotta work out. So you know what I mean? It's like it's one of those things. Like now it's like in the past I would have just vegged out, and it's like nah, you just gotta I gotta keep my level up, because honestly it's like when I at CMP when I looked at like the fast riders, and I look where I was like, all right, I'm 7 seconds away from them dudes or women. And I was like, in my mind, I was like, all right, I got 7 seconds. And granted, the weather was a play in this round, and I'm comfortable in the wet. Like I'm super comfortable in the wet. So it's kind of like it's one of those deals where it's like it's nice to get up front, and I didn't think I would be there, and it might be a fluke. And pit we'll see what happened in pit because it's a new track, but at the same time, like I feel. It
gives you confidence.
Yeah, I feel very comfortable on the KTM. Like I feel comfortable on it after after 2 rounds. At this point, it's like and the crazy part about it is my quick shifter isn't working, so I'm clutching up and clutching down. You know what I'm saying? I'm not. I mean, I guess I could have matched Rev or whatever, but just trying to sort out the weather and tire conditions and all that, and the tire and the conditions. I just it was all up and down. So it's kind of like, okay, when I get comfortable with everything working, who knows what can happen.
I feel like one of the new generations where I just jumped into the track with a quick shifter. Like, wait, what? You shifted yourself? Oh, hold on, no, I don't know. I mean, I could do it, but it's just like, yeah, that's too much work.
No, it took and that's the crazy part. Like but with all that, because again, the same thing. I'm used to up and down. The start of the race is the only time I'm using my hand is like on a clutch. You know what I'm saying? And so like, it's interesting how we overcome.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It like, I'm not gonna say here like, oh, I knew this was gonna happen, because trust me, I was like, okay, I'm 7 seconds away. Shit, you know what I'm saying? Like, a couple of years ago, I was 7 seconds away from the fast guy, and it took me like, damn near half the season, damn near end of the season to catch him. Right? So it was one of those challenges. Like, okay, you know what I mean? And so to see myself, up front, and especially as an expert, right? Like, as an amateur is one thing, but as an expert, it's like, there's a lot of fast people out there. You know what I mean? So
now that your quick shift is not working, you have to rev match now, right?
No, I honestly, so
I mean, like, you really don't have to. I mean, I know you might stay in the same gear for a good time,
right?
Right.
So
you
here's
don't have to shift that much. But.
So here's the crazy part, right? So I haven't done the 600-mile braking on the bike yet. So at 6,000 RPM, my rev limit is just like change. And so it's one of those things where it's feel. I'm trying to feel where before it chops, because if you have a KTM and some other bikes, some bikes you hit the rev limiter, you can keep going. Other bikes you hit the rev limiter and it just chops the power. So it's kind of finding that feel before I do that. So honestly, I'm not even there yet, and that's the crazy part about it. So I'm looking forward to the summertime, because I think by the time the summertime come, the bike will be dialed in, and I would be racing for a little bit, and I'll feel pretty good.
You're gonna have like a MotoGP season, like week 2, you're gonna unlock the chassis, you're gonna unlock the ECU. Week 4.
Listen, I once I can get past,
5, you're gonna be like, I'm there.
But listen, man. Honestly, it's crazy. Because I've had seasons. I've had. I'm not Morbidelli, but I've had Morbidelli-like seasons. You know what I'm saying? Where obviously he feels he could be. He's he's been a world champion. I'm not sitting here, looking at the titles in that regard, but like it's one of those things where you can have some bad seasons through injuries, through outside life experiences. You know what I'm saying? And I had from 2016 to 2019, 20 was some dark times. You know what I mean? So it's like, to get on the other end. Before that, my confidence was ridiculous. And then, to ride and to, you're out here and you're like, in your mind, you're better than what your results are. You know what I'm saying? I know Morbidelli's better than what his results are. I know, you look at Alex Marquez when he was on Honda, right? Mm-hmm. He's a better rider than what the results are. I'm not sitting here. Again, it wasn't a bike issue for me. It was just me. You know what I'm saying? Where in Alex Marquez's case, it was a bike issue. As you see, he switched to Ducati, and you see what he's doing. You know what I mean? So it's like to be on the other side of that, to win regional stuff and compete and compete at a high level. It's crazy because and I don't know if every rider goes through that, because some don't. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? For sure. But it's cool to be on the other side of that.
Yeah, you get your feet wet, see how it is, I know our round one, we had a good amount of riders. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, like every field that was racing had a good amount of group of bikes. I'm sure round two will be a lot more because I know that I had a lot of friends that didn't make it to round one. So
I will listen. You know, round two, it's gonna have a lot of riders. I don't want to say a lot, but you're gonna have some riders that haven't been at Loudon for the first time,
exactly,
and they're experts. You know what I'm saying? So I know for sure that they're just going to CMP, and I know riders are coming to the May round, and they're going to race the classic too. So
yeah, a lot has changed. Not a lot, but at Loudon they got a new pattern going. So we haven't been there yet, but there's a new bike pattern to get onto the track. It's a whole new wave. You can't just freelance and just get on. You know, the quickest route to the track. You know,
okay,
there's a route to get off, and there's a route to get on now. So they're trying to get everybody in line,
acclimated to that,
and acclimated to that. So I guess when the classic comes, it's not chaos, which I actually kind of like it the way it is. So basically, all the garages have to be on your right. You can't ride by the media center anymore.
Okay.
Where the fence and the track is.
okay,
So basically, where our paddock 4 is, I basically bang a left out of there, go to how we're like exiting the track and take a left,
okay,
like we're going to Tech,
okay.
and then you go down past Tech on your right.
So that's how you're going to pit in. I mean, go in.
Yeah,
Go out,
Everyone,
pit out?
Everyone pits out, going that same direction.
Okay.
So all the bikes you see going down.
Oh
past
wow!
Tech,
Oh wow!
in a straight line, and then coming off. Basically, you come off that way, but you stay to the left,
Okay.
and then you gotta go around like you leave
All
Tech
right.
and go
All right,
around.
then.
Yeah.
Okay then.
So it's pretty cool.
So I'm gonna.
There's a lot of freelancers coming in like, what's going on? Why are there cones everywhere?
You know, I was going to use that analogy. It was like, you know, somebody coming home from jail and the situation's changed, like the new neighborhoods. But like, I'm going to get to the classic and be like, things look different.
Right?
I haven't been here. It's like,
How long has this been? That long?
no, you know, yeah, I'm looking forward to the classic and seeing what happens. You know, overall. I mean, what I do, I'm not racing. I'm gonna race at Loudon, but I'm not gonna race the classic. The Dash for Cash, the big purse, the big money.
Yeah, so it was pretty cool. So they said that if anyone has space in the paddocks to kind of make room for all the riders coming in, because you know they're not kicking us out. You know, we're gonna be there. For that weekend too,
that's how it is at every track. I mean, it's just that's what it is.
Yeah, so.
You know,
It'd be pretty cool to see who was around in the paddock.
But other people know that. They know that. Yeah. They're like, it's no different. You have to keep in mind, like, Neymar was LRRS, which was also part of CCS, like 2 years ago.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. So, it's all love.
No, I can't wait. I'm about to hit round 2 though, so
yeah,
2 weeks. Well, yeah, a week and a half.
Yeah, I'm gonna miss round 2, which is unfortunate. I want to go, but the schedule is just crazy. So how was how was your first round? You know, after having these time off, and what is the competition like? You know, what are your goal likes? How what are your takeaways that when you after you're leaving the track? We all probably decompress a little differently. What are some of your takeaways from that?
I mean, a couple goals. I just want to stay in the teens, and hopefully, get on the podium a couple times.
Podium is nice.
So that's a couple of my regular goals, and just to stay competing every round if I can make it. As far as how practice went, I thought I felt really good in practice.
Okay.
But when I looked at the times, like on Saturday when we was like racing, when we had our transponders on, I looked at my practice times. I'm like, I did a what? And then as the race came, like it's like another switch for everybody. But that switch turned on, and my race pace was like 8-9 seconds faster than practice.
Yeah.
And for first round, I was pretty happy about that. I only did 2 races Saturday, so I did race 5 and 14. 14 was the middleweight Grand Prix. I was in the back of the pack, so each grid, every time I went out, I was basically either last or second to last. So I had to find my way through the pack.
Right.
The middleweight Grand Prix, I got close to the front. I think I was like in 5th or 6th, and then I had quick shifter issues in turn 1. I lost a few positions, and I just decided just to finish. And it was fun.
At the end of the day, that's the biggest part, is the fun. I definitely had more fun on Saturday. I mean, granted, I won both races, so it's easier to have more fun.
I always have fun when you win.
I finished 5th on Sunday, and it was a battle. And I I think my takeaway on Sunday is because it's 2 different bikes, right? In my case, and they're not exactly the same. So, my feel on the second bike was not the same for the first, which is something I have to, try to get as close to as the first and stuff like that. But also at the same time, I'm learning more and more to ride around the problems of the bike. And my takeaway on Sunday, like, I wasn't comfortable, but it's not enough of a reason not to try my best.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And that's my takeaway for the next round. If I'm not comfortable on the bike, I still got to ride the bike to the best of what I can do, or what the bike can give me, or whatever the case may be.
Yeah. So I did my oil change, and I did a couple other things to the bike to make sure it was running right.
Yep.
I did get a first place for my race 5.
Oh, nice. That's what's up.
In the amateur heavyweight super sport.
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't a big field, but it rode well, felt good for the first race. So I have a good takeaway. I just want to thank all the photographers like Scott Hussey, Sam Dryce, and Martin Hanlon. Just the photos they put out, and the footage that I record. Just realize like certain things that I just need to work on for the next round, like get my body down a little bit more. I feel like I'm standing up a little bit too much.
Oh, for sure. It's your first time out.
Yeah,
like,
so I know I'm not going to be perfect, but it's good to see that, and something to work on for next round.
Yeah. Yes. Sorry for the technical difficulties.
We back.
Well, I'm not quite sure where we left off for a little bit, but we're going to start where we start. And, we were talking about just having time off on the bike and coming in and not having everything work the way we want it to work, which is a big deal.
Saying I want to look forward to getting my body down and, getting used to coming off the bike more and stand the bike up.
Exactly.
For round to, work on that, get back to where I was.
Yeah, as the show says, gas on, bike up. That's what it is. Which is crazy.
I like that.
We're gonna turn a little bit to MotoGP and World Superbike. It's been a little bit so for us because the race season has started, and it's hard to be in 2 places at one time. You know what I mean? So we didn't talk about Coda, but we'll touch that a little bit because Alex Rins, shout out to him for winning on a different manufacturer. There's not a lot of riders that come into, the top levels of any country sports or world sport and win on multiple manufacturers.
Yeah, he shows that he's just still a fighter, contender. It doesn't matter what you put him on. Granted, that is probably got a good setup, but still, I mean.
Yeah, I don't know if he got a good setup.
I was hearing that he had a Mark Marquez's either setup or mindset or parts, something like that.
I mean, he's also very comfortable at Coda. It's one of his favorite. I think it's one of his tracks that he does well. One of his favorite. You know what I mean? But you know what I'm saying, because the other Honda riders didn't do as well.
No.
That's why I say that. You
And,
know what I'm saying?
and he did very well in the sprint to start.
Yeah.
Chasing down Pecco.
Yep.
And then the actual Grand Prix race.
Right.
He-
And although
he
if
put it
Pecco
down.
didn't crash out,
Yeah.
he might not have won. But he still needed to be in the fight.
Yeah, that was tough to see Pecco to crash out. I mean, I don't know what happened when on that. He was doing the same thing every lap. You know, maybe he was just trying to hit a little turbo, pull
Right.
the bike a little more, and I don't. It's just frustrating to see it. To see his coach loses
Right.
his mind.
Yeah, I could see that. It's interesting that you got Pecco, you got Bezecchi, you got Luca Marini. So you got a lot of the even. I want to say Morbidelli done well, but I want to say that there's a lot of the VR46 Academy riders that are like in the top 10 a lot. You know, which is crazy, right? And some of these riders, you know, it's their own mistakes why they're losing, or they're losing the opportunity to win a race. Not even to say finish in the top 6 or 5 or whatever the case may be, they're losing the opportunity to win the race, which is pretty insane when you think about, you know, all the riders in MotoGP.
I mean, the competition level is so good now. I mean, everyone makes a mistake every lap, I'm sure, like slightly.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, I mean, it's so hard to be on the money, the pace they're running, you know, and it's just the margins get smaller because the competition is that much better.
Right.
So, I mean, it's tough. They're gonna make mistakes going around each lap, but it's hard when you're actually leading the race and you know you're trying to set the pace. It's like a mind game, you know. I don't know if you want to like hold them up or take off on them.
Right.
I don't know. There's a lot of laps to put in.
No, for sure. There is. And speaking of that, and then they get to Jerez. That's where they were, right?
Yep.
And KTM.
Like Brad Binder's the sprint king right now.
Yeah.
And he sets the tone for the weekend, I feel, and you know Jack Miller's like, "Oh, yeah, I gotta follow you, mate."
Yeah. And I find on one hand that, like, you know, KTM is a new Aprilia. You know what I mean? Even though I feel bad for Oliveira because he was riding the heck out of it. I feel bad for Vinales. I feel bad for Aleix. You know what I mean? But when it's all said and done, it's the ones that finish. And, you know, KTM, Danny Petroza, oh my goodness, Little Samurai.
Oh, that guy, man. It's a pleasure to see him actually agree to participate, because the only time I really watched him is on throwbacks. You know, like we go watch some vintage races, like, oh, Danny Petrosa, wow, he was a really good rider. But like to see him ride now, it's like me watching Tony Elias when he came to Moto America. Like I knew that he rode in MotoGP and he was a good rider.
Right.
He actually did good in Moto America, so I'm like, wow, Tony Elias.
Yeah.
But to see Pedrosa out there,
Yeah, and listen, this is
and don't matter what height you are, what size you are,
one rider that has
bad man.
had so much bad luck. If there was a rider that was Charles Barkley, it would be Danny Pedrosa. He lost the world title to so many riders. He was runner up.
Just needed like a 10-pound weight in the back seat or something.
No, it was like other people taking him out, and he was
Yeah.
injured and stuff like that, and and that's for a lot of riders, right? Again, I don't want to sit here and be like, because all of us, you know, we can always sit here and cherry pick to rewrite history. I'm not trying to say that, but you know, Danny Pedrosa has a special place in my heart because, like, he's just had so much and he's a world title. You know what I mean? Not in MotoGP, but the lower classes. 3-time world title rider, right? So he's not like he's lacking anything and all that. But when you talk about some bad luck, you know what I mean? A rider that's just kind of like, you got Rossi that came around. You had Marquez that coming around. You know what I'm saying? Then you had Nicky Hayden. You know what I'm saying? Like you had these riders that just were, you had Lorenzo. You had other, and he was a clean rider. So like he's been taken out of the championship contender, right? He's been taken out of that by other riders. You know what I'm saying? And
lack of aggressiveness.
Well, no, he's been hurt.
Yeah.
Shoulders in the plate, plates in the shoulder, all type of business. And so, I don't want to say Oliveira is like him, but it's similar to that. Like, other riders taking you out, because Oliveira has 2 riders that took him out, and then he's been ruled out of races because of it, right? No fault of his own. And that's kind of, some of Danny Pedrosa, but he's rode with the best. He's beat Rossi. He's beat Lorenzo. He's beat these top riders. You know what I'm saying? Like he got the accolades without the big thing. You know what I'm saying? And so it's good to see him at 37 come out there and be in the top 7.
Yeah, not to mention that, like he came out at his age and did what he did. So tell Aleix she needs to stay a few more years.
Oh, for sure. I hope Aleix does.
Yeah.
I mean, Aprilia is an interesting beast, and
because Aleix is around way when Pedrosa is around as
well. Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Too, so
yeah, it's hard to when you're desperate. It's hard to have patience, and when you're desperate, that's when you need the most patience. And whatever's going on in your life, if you find yourself in a situation where you feel desperate, you need to have the most patience and you need to have the most thought, because if you just react, it's going to be a disaster. You know what I mean? You have to move as if you're not desperate. And I think there's a section of KTM, Aprilia, they're riding, I think, as if they're desperate, and they don't need to. They just need to just ride, because it doesn't matter what you do in life. If you're desperate, you're not going to be committed. You're not going to be like locked in. And I feel like these, I'm not sitting here saying you don't want to be number one all the time, right? But I feel like they're overriding their bikes. When I say that, and I say like Vinales and Aleix, especially Aleix, I think Aleix is overriding the bike, and he just needs to just relax and just enjoy the bike. And I think he would be in the top 5. And I think if he's in the top 5 for the whole season, he's a contender for the world title.
Yeah. Well, I know it's still early in the year. I mean, it goes by pretty fast. But like, what did they do wrong from last year to this year? I feel like even Maverick, he was having a much enjoyable time so far, like on their Aprilia. Obviously, it was like his new year from coming from Yamaha, but
right.
And then Aleix had a really good start to the year and kind of deteriorated towards the end. But, but I don't understand, like, what direction did they like they didn't. I don't know. They had a really good start to the year last year. I don't see that this year.
Right.
Like I said, like even at Jerez, like Maverick didn't finish his last lap. Like,
right. The chain. Well, I mean, in that instance, the chain broke, so he has no control over that.
That's no control, but
you know what I'm saying. But
it's like when it rains, it pours type thing.
Exactly.
It's like, like wow, this had to feel too.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
No, exactly. So, I think for Aprilia, I don't know this, and I'm no expert, so what I mean, I'm not claiming to be, but I think that if they have the bike, I think they just need to have fun and ride. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, setup and blah 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 needs to be there, but I think when the lights are when the lights are out, I think at that point it's about the fun. You still got to think, and you still got to do all the right things. But if you're having fun, you're gonna do all the right things. And I think Aprilia is there. I think they're there and they don't realize they're there. And I don't know, I'm not sitting here saying I know what they're thinking, but I don't know if they're waiting for this big aha moment to say I'm there. But they were there from last year. So honestly, this year they just need
I don't even know where they're standing in points right now, but I know it's not.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter points. When you look at the weekend and you look at the laps, they're there. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know if it's I don't know if it's the people in the box that whomever. I don't know. It could be one or three people, whomever don't believe in the cars. Who knows, whatever it is. But KTM believe they're there. I don't think Aprilia believes they're there. But KTM believes they're there. And I think KTM was believing they were there before they were actually there. Because I think they walked with that last year. And I think Jack Miller is the key to unlocking what we're seeing right now. I think Danny Pedrosa gave them a great, unbelievable leap. But I think Jack Miller put them closer to knocking on Ducati's door.
You see them in every race. They're coming around the corner in the top pack.
Yeah.
And not just one of them, usually both of them, you know.
Yeah. So I do believe Aprilia and those boys need to know that they're there. Don't even have to believe it at this point. You're there. You just got to go out there and do it now.
There's a couple other things happening too. So there's one less race this year too. They took away the Kazakhstan or something like that.
Oh yeah, they might have taken away a weekend, but
no, taken away.
Yeah, but between the sprints and all that, there's still a gang of races.
Oh yeah, still a gang of races, but I think there's one less sprint, one less.
Yeah, 1 week. And that makes sense. I mean, I think at some point it becomes very difficult for a human being to play at a high level for a long period of time.
I'm still waiting to see this whole season to play out because, like, the load they just put on these riders.
Yeah.
Even though it's exciting for the fans, you know.
It is very exciting.
You already see there's a lot of injuries already up into race 4.
Yeah.
You know.
Very exciting.
So,
but it is bad like that. The injuries are crazy. But again,
you got Danny Pedrosa already coming in. You know.
Yeah, but I think that it's. I'm on the outside, so I don't want to speak. But the injuries and all that, it stems, I think, from having to take more risks than some of these riders need to take.
Yeah.
And should take, but they have to take them because the pressure's on them, and they take them. And when it works out, it's a beautiful thing. But when it doesn't work out, you're doing long lap penalties and such.
And I think I heard of Mark Marquez, he's out still, and he has to get tested for something because they have to make sure he's right or he can't ride again or something like that.
No, it's very interesting times when you look at what's going on between the riders and such. And the public and the organization that's trying to continue to make money, and how they are approaching it, because it should be about the riders, and for some of these riders, I don't know if they believe that.
I thought they were. I thought it was a little poll that some of them love to ride, and they were all for it.
Yeah,
and, you heard some of the riders. They were like, "Oh, this is BS." But there's a lot. There should be a substitute rider throughout the year, like the NBA has. Load management.
Yeah,
I can't do race 14. So
yeah, I think the folks that can afford the test riders, they can move the test riders into one of those roles. I think for folks that can't, it makes it very difficult. Which is the interesting part. So, we'll see what happens. The season's still early, and people got to stay healthy. Mm-hmm. I think Alex Rins give Honda a fighting chance. I think KTM got a fighting chance. The Ducatis obviously have a fighting chance. I think Yamaha's in serious trouble.
Yep.
And
Honda.
I think I think
not
Joanne
serious
Mir,
trouble, but,
I think Joanne Mir and Taka Nakagami.
and now having Marquez out there is just
I think Marquez and Alex Rins give Yamaha the best possibility, and I'll be surprised that if Alex Rins is not a factory Honda rider when the contracts end, because he has a better result than Joanne Mir right now. And I feel for Joanne Mir because he got the factory seat because he won that world title. But if you look at the riders in the last year and a half, 2 years, Alex is the better rider.
Yeah, comparing that, I love Joanne Mir too. I mean, I love them all, but I try to look at different riding styles and how people ride. And he used to like never go down.
Yeah,
he's having no luck this year.
And it's tricky because it takes a while to get used. For some of us, it takes a while to get used to a new bike. So Alex Rins was able to convert very quickly, and he's struggling. And I feel for him because it's not easy. But at the top level, it is a very cutthroat sport.
Yeah, and then as far as like Coda and Jerez, there was a few incidents. I don't know. We haven't talked about penalties or anything like that.
Oh, listen,
but
man.
Pecco said something good. He was like, he just wants to be consistent
Mm-hmm.
because he got a penalty as well at Jerez.
Mm-hmm.
But back in Coda, I think Jorge Martin took out Alex Marquez.
Right.
He had a horrible weekend. Didn't finish the sprint or the Grand Prix. They're just going under and losing traction like Morbidelli did in Jerez in the sprint. Which I didn't know that he got a penalty for that until the race happened.
Right.
And I don't believe that incident that Fabio did was.
I don't. Yeah.
Was he should deserve that? I don't know if it's because who he is.
Right. I will say this though. I'm on the same side as Jack Miller. I don't think after that crash, he should have been back in the race.
Yep.
Fabio. I think he shouldn't have been back in the race. So I do agree with them, with Jack Miller on that. If you check the press conference, you know what I mean, because it's one of those things like he was the cause of it, and kind of partially responsible for the red flag.
Did they decide that penalty before the restart?
Well, as far as allowing them to get back on, because usually, and this was thing that was new to me, because usually you'd have to get your bike to the pit, back to the paddock.
Yeah, within a certain time.
Yeah,
right?
and not by, unless you getting your bike to the paddock, and I might be thinking the World Superbike, but this is you getting your bike to the paddock, not necessarily you getting back and jumping on your B bike.
Yeah, I know Moto 2, like if you crash, you have 5 minutes to get back to the paddock with your bike to restart. Otherwise, you can't restart.
Yeah, and I don't know if some of these riders got back to the paddock on their bike. Because if you look at some of the footage, it didn't look like they jumped back on their bike. So, but it is what it is, and that's one of the things that, like I said, Jack. We'll see what happens in. I think they're in the French Grand Prix next, but we'll see what happens.
They're in a couple weeks.
Yeah. Oh no, this is it's the season. So we're gonna wrap up soon. So we didn't talk about World Superbike yet, but we will on the next episode. What are you looking forward to the next rounds at Loudon?
I'm looking for good weather. Sunshine, birds chirping.
Right.
70 degrees. Nah.
Okay.
I'm just looking for a good weekend. Yeah, like good weather. Just want to be consistent. And like I said, I just want to little by little improve on things. Like I want to get my body better positioned off the bike.
Mm-hmm. It's first round.
Yeah, so that's about it. And probably compete in like a race or two more.
Nice.
Let's see how it goes. But yeah, just want to have a complete weekend. Have a good weather.
Okay. Nice.
All the festivities.
Yep.
Cooking out and hitting Walmart.
I hope the weather does hold up, because that makes or break your weekend.
Oh yeah. It's like when it's like so windy and you gotta like you gotta put buckets up and pull a tent down here. Like I gotta focus on racing. Like
yeah,
I got time.
Contending with the weather is not easy. So, All right, man.
But yeah, you're going in tomorrow or in the weekend. What is your goals for this weekend?
To learn the track.
I know
See
you're
what
gonna
happens
have
with
to
that.
unlock a new package.
Yeah,
when you get
exactly.
there.
You know what I'm saying? Matrix. Plug me in. But no, I hope to just learn the track, and I think if I learn the track, everything else will come. It is. I feel very good on the bike, which is a good feeling after a couple of rounds. Even if I'm using clutch up and clutch down. So, if I learn the track, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, it's a good time to get the track map, take notes as much as you can, because
Yeah.
when you go back, you got that edge.
Exactly. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens. I definitely we will report on the B4evaKool thing. My name is X45.
My name is TJ.
It's the B4evaKool podcast.
Peace out.
Peace.